A car ride ended with a 10-year-old in the hospital. How police say a stray bullet ended up in a child's shoulder.
A Cache County man is behind bars accused of stabbing and killing his mother.
You never really expect something like that to happen, especially in your own family.
How neighbors who saw the woman before her death are reacting tonight.
It's been 1 year since a South Salt Lake officer was killed in the line of duty.
I'm proud knowing that he will know his daddy was a hero.
How Officer David Rumrell's family and his fellow officers are keeping his memory alive.
And will snow cover your driveway come tomorrow morning? I'll let you know in the forecast.
Live from Fox 13 Studios, this is Fox 13 News at 9.
As we begin this Thanksgiving week, the big thing on most everyone's minds right now is the weather. We will see a change of seasons in just a matter of hours, and some might even wake up to snowfall.
And this is likely going to make for a messy Monday morning commute. Breck Bolton in the Weather Center tonight, keeping a close eye on this storm. And Breck, who's going to be hit the hardest?
Well, northern Utah is definitely in the sights of the storm, but as we of course showed you the video of those people just hiking throughout the afternoon. Want to savor what we experienced over the weekend. It is quickly moving on, changing up as well. Let me share a photo coming in from a viewer. This is up near Bear Lake, Garden City. Yeah, beautiful sunset for sure. This will not be the scene as we're going to be progressing through the next few days across the state. Today's temperature is above normal. We got up into the 40s throughout most of northern central Utah, 50s across the south. We currently stand in the 30s. We're not seeing the impact of the storm quite yet. Things are still fairly calm. We've been increasing the clouds, as you notice, across northern Utah as the upper level moisture increasing ahead of the cold front, which is on its way. Let's show you where things are at currently and what you can expect over the next few hours. High clouds through eastern Utah. We look upstream. There's the cold front on our doorstep. It begins to move in overnight. Timing of the storm, it'll be impacting portions of northern Utah throughout the morning commute. Now, it doesn't start off with everybody. It's a slow mover, so it's the northern Wasatch Front that we're going to be looking at early in the morning commute, and then progressing towards Salt Lake, Utah counties. We've got a lot of cold air. We've got winter weather with lighting the map with several winter weather advisories in place. What does it all mean? How much snow will we get? And what's the timing of it all? And how does the rest of the week look? We're going to answer that coming up.
Right now, crews with Utah Department of Transportation are resting before they wake up bright and early tomorrow morning to clean up the snow ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday. Here's a map of where UDOT expects traffic to be the most congested. The green meaning minimal impact from weather, the red being the most impacted. UDOT says they're working with meteorologists to figure out where they need to send their crews and when.
The highest priorities are always those roads that have the most traffic on them. I-15, I-80, I-215, the freeways, and then you look at the state routes as well. And, you know, if we can tackle all of those and help get those main arteries clear for people to pass through, that does a lot of good right there.
Stick with Fox 13 every step of the way during this Thanksgiving week storm. We'll have team coverage tomorrow morning on Good Day Utah and throughout the week on air and online. Tonight, family members say a 10-year-old boy is doing well after he was hit by a stray bullet.
Fox 13 Sydney Glenn spoke with investigators in Sanpete County and has the latest information.
This is near where the Sanpete County attorney tells me that a 10-year-old child was shot by a stray bullet. Investigators say they believe a family negligently target shooting towards the road were involved. A typical car ride ended with police lights and a hospital room for one 10-year-old boy.
You're driving along, and you're in Sanpete County, Utah, not South Central Los Angeles. You don't expect to be hit by a stray bullet.
Sanpete County Attorney Kevin Daniels says he believes multiple crimes were committed.
What we're dealing with are a couple of individuals that were recklessly, negligently shooting towards a roadway, and they were shooting high-powered weapons.
This was an act of negligence and recklessness, Daniels says.
They were shooting close enough to a roadway that they knew that they were shooting close to a roadway.
This doesn't happen often, Daniels said, but it does happen. Kayleen Richens pleaded guilty to negligent homicide. She was out target shooting last September when a bullet hit and killed a 14-year-old boy. It's something she says she lives with every day. And learning of another boy being hurt is hard to hear.
It just makes me sick. It makes me heartbroken for both families involved. It makes me sick that stuff like this is continuing to happen.
Now she's dedicated her life to teaching others about the danger.
Our only goal is to get our message out, the no backstop, no shot. You know, to do anything we can to help prevent more tragedies like this from happening.
Luckily, this little boy gets to walk away, but it serves as the reminder Richens keeps preaching. No backstop, no shot. At this point, deputies say no one has been charged. They say they are looking at multiple suspects. We should be getting more information in the next few days. In Sanpete County, Sydney Glenn, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Police arrested a 28-year-old man on suspicion of stabbing and killing his mother in North Logan.
The victim, Deborah Ann Andrews, was 67 years old. Fox 13's Adam Herbett spoke to people who live in that complex about what they heard the moments leading up to her death.
The downstairs neighbors say they heard everything. Someone screaming for help. Call 911. So they did.
Well, I showed up right after it happened. It's just a mess.
This man, who lives 2 units down, says he's glad he didn't have to see what his other neighbors did. 67-year-old Deborah Andrews stabbed at least once in the back. Police arrested her son, 28-year-old Sean Andrews, on suspicion of murder.
We don't really know a lot of the people in this building, but we have seen him around at least.
They moved in maybe a few months ago. 2-3 months ago.
Neighbors say Sean lived there with his mom and brother. On Saturday, they saw him walk away from the scene while his brother cried outside.
He's not the sort of person that you'd expect to do something like that, but I don't know.
The person who did the crime has, I'm sure, a lot of grief going on.
Some say before the screaming, they heard a fight going on upstairs, but they don't know what it was about. Now, they just hope the rest of the family finds a way to recover.
All I know is that they smoke cigarettes. Anything else, it's just, I don't know. I don't know.
Reporting in North Logan, Adam Herbets, Fox 13 News, Utah.
3 people in Ogden were forced from their home after a fire. This happening at 2029 Monroe Boulevard just after midnight. Crews say the fire started in the front yard. By the time firefighters got there, flames were coming from the front porch. Investigators say this fire was human-caused. No one was hurt, but the damage is estimated to be around $30,000.
South Salt Lake police are looking into a deadly crash involving a 48-year-old Salt Lake area man riding his motorcycle. It happened near 3050 State Street just before 6:30 last night. Police say the northbound motorcyclist crashed behind a minivan after the vehicle braked hard to stop for someone crossing the street. The victim has not publicly been identified.
A Pleasant View man is dead after a weather-related crash in Box Elder County. Investigators say Jess Cole Palmer was attempting to turn around due to extremely slick conditions when his vehicle dropped off the road backwards, rolling down a 200-foot mountain. This happened just after 11:30 this morning. The 44-year-old was thrown from the pickup truck and died on scene. 1 year ago today, South Salt Lake police officer David Romrell was killed in the line of duty while investigating a burglary.
The former Marine is survived by his wife Elizabeth and his son Jackson. Today, the South Salt Lake Department dedicated their headquarters in his honor as the David P. Romrell Safety Building. Officer Romrell's family and many of his friends and comrades were on hand for the emotional ceremony.
We stand here in remembrance of the kindness and goodness that you exemplify. We carry these traits as we continue to carry you in our hearts. Jackson and I will always keep your memory alive.
Officer Romrell's partner shot the 2 suspects in the incident that killed Romrell last year, killing one of the suspects. Now, the suspect that did survive now faces murder charges.
Putting out cotton candy flavor and what is it, unicorn poop flavor? I mean, look, this is kid product.
Still to come, Senator Mitt Romney and President Donald Trump butting heads over the vaping crisis. See how they're trying to find a compromise to ultimately save lives.
She is the outgoing mayor of Salt Lake City.
You can see the pollution that is being created by the growth that is happening here.
Jackie Biskupski on her time in office and why she says the city and not the state should control the proposed inland port. Coming up on 3 Questions.
This is Fox 13 News.
Welcome back. The vaping debate is heating up in Washington.
This weekend, Senator Mitt Romney sparred with industry executives at a round table hosted by President Trump.
Fox 13's John Franke takes a closer look at what may be another battle brewing between these two political rivals.
We've got almost 6 million kids addicted to nicotine, and they're getting addicted to nicotine because of flavors.
It's a sight we rarely see. Senator Mitt Romney sitting next to President Donald Trump. The issue bringing these two together, children getting addicted to vaping. Romney is working on bipartisan legislation that would ban the sale of flavored vaping products nationally.
They thought it was just a candy type product.
But even on this topic,
isn't that going to be, isn't that going to be just sold, illegally? That somebody's going to open up a shop in China and ship it in?
President and the senator,
they're going to be selling stuff on a street corner that could be horrible.
Seem somewhat far apart.
They're going to be having a flavor that's poison.
For an hour, they listened to vaping executives and health experts. At times, the conversation turned to shouting as the president watched.
They don't have that.
I'm sorry, but that's a false. I'm sorry, but
half the kids in my high school in my state, Utah,
that is a completely false
Utah's a Mormon state. Utah's a Mormon state. Half the kids in high school are vaping. All right, they wouldn't have used these products.
The industry made a case that a flavor ban would punish adults who vape as an alternative to smoking while crippling locally owned businesses. During the exchange, Senator Romney argued the shops would find a way to stay open.
May I complete? May I finish, please? So those, they're not all going to go out of business because they can't sell flavor.
Some stores closing is a risk he's willing to take.
You're talking about 100 kids addicted for 1 employee, typically minimum wage. I put the kids first.
The president has not yet announced his plans. The meeting ended with both men trying to get the final word.
It's interesting, all the public health people have the same
We'll
point.
let you know pretty soon.
Yes.
We want to take care of our kids. Got to take care of our kids.
Being in this for the kids is the one slice of common ground these often adversaries could find. John Franke, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Protesters against the Iranian government gathered at the Utah State Capitol today, raising awareness of their country's political unrest. For over a year now, Iranians have fought for stability against what they claim to be the corrupt Islamic regime. Protesters say this government has tripled gas prices overnight, even killed protesters overseas. With nearly 5,000 people imprisoned and the internet recently being shut down for the public, Iranian families in the U.S. fear they may never see their loved ones again.
We want to get rid of the Islamic regime in Iran, and we don't want any of those people to be on the power no more, because we have 80 million Iranian people are hostage of a government in Iran, unfortunately, at this point.
Activists here in Salt Lake are asking local Utahns to reach out to their legislators and ask what they can do to stop this crisis.
Today, several local biker clubs made their way to Pioneer Park to feed those in need. Even though they may be wearing opposing club patches, one message these bikers wanted to get across is that we are all family. They hope through donating, feeding, and clothing the community, people will put aside their differences and come together.
Don't turn a blind eye to the people in need. So when you see someone homeless on the street, don't just think a negative thing. That's somebody that needs help, so just reach out to them. Don't just drive by, you see them on the corner and be like, oh, I'm not going to do anything for them. We just do this so people open their eyes.
Now, Pioneer Park won't be the only stop for these bikers. They will be volunteering their time across the Utah Valley, feeding those less fortunate this holiday season.
Well, speaking of the holidays, perhaps the last thing you want to see right now is maybe the forecast for what you might be driving in.
It's going to be treacherous for sure. All week long, we're changing it up. We're bringing the winter weather across the state. It initially starts with northern Utah. You have this cold front right on our doorstep. Today, temperatures above normal. Official high, 48 degrees on average. We should be in the mid-40s. Take a look at the average lows in the upper 20s. That's where we're heading for our highs here over the next week. Now, currently we're at 36 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. Winds fairly light right now. It becomes breezy and snowy for your forecast. As we look for tomorrow morning, now in the headlines we say a messy commute for some. It's based on the timing and where you're living And what will be going on, we're going to lay it out for you exactly hour by hour what to expect, because it doesn't impact everyone across northern Utah. Series of storms, though, it will impact everyone. Statewide, we're expecting to see precipitation for most days for the upcoming week, but temperatures will be dropping extremely low here, especially as we look towards the end of the week. Now, several watches and warnings. We need to update you. We've now incorporated more of northern central into western Utah. Let's first focus in with the wind advisory as we look towards eastern Utah. That'll be in place until Tuesday at 4 o'clock, and the winds really get going, especially tomorrow afternoon. But the areas of purple, that's winter weather advisories in place, and we're incorporating the Wasatch Front. Wasatch Mountains as well, but through the central portions of the mountains and valleys in central Utah, western Utah in addition. And that'll be in effect until Tuesday. Now, how much snow are we talking about? Let's look for the next 48 hours first. Mountains, there's an update here. Looks like accumulations anywhere on the low end, 1 to 2 inches, like in Park City, Sundance, 7 inches in Snowbird, a little bit more up in Powder Mountain. So definitely beneficial snow with this first storm. But again, we're talking a series of storms that's coming into play. So this is the one that will be hitting tomorrow morning through Tuesday morning. Now, valleys getting into the mix. Updating these numbers as well. Still looking at the range from Logan through Ogden, 1 to 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches in Salt Lake City. Quite a bit more over towards the Tooele Valley. We're going to be looking at lake effect snow that will continue on not only tomorrow morning, but through the afternoon tomorrow night in addition. Looking through central Utah, Nephi, you're at 3 to 4 inches. Eastern Utah, less than an inch. And many locations across southern Utah in that same range. Looks like 1 to 2 inches in Fillmore, 1 to 2 inches in Panguitch. Again, this is the storm for tomorrow through Tuesday. Now let's talk about the timing of it. This is definitely going to impact you in making your preparations and plans for the commute tomorrow. Now the position of this front, again, now pushing through Idaho. It doesn't look too ominous. There's not a lot of showers currently associated with this, but there's moisture still funneling in. And that's not only one storm, again, an additional storm, which gets things going as we move into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, potentially into the weekend as well. Now, timing for your Monday morning commute. Let's go through it. We've got the clock where the models are indicating the snow falling at different points of your morning commute. So as we roll through the evening tomorrow morning early, you see at 5:30 a.m. we've got snow in Logan, Tremont, and potentially Brigham City, Logan Canyon, Sardine. Now let's go up until about 8:30. It's moving southward, kind of at a slow pace initially. Now we're talking Ogden, maybe into Layton. So still avoiding Salt Lake, Tooele, and Utah counties. But the tail end of the commute, 10 o'clock, we start seeing some activity. Bountiful, Salt Lake City, Tooele, Parley's Canyon, also the East Bench there. And then as we move through the noon hour, now we're looking at Utah County down through Nephi and then progressing southward along the I-15 corridor as we head into the afternoon commute. Now lingering showers, particularly along I-80 with some lake effect snow impacting Tooele for the afternoon commute and definitely in the mountains therein. So it depends, as I mentioned, that morning commute. It moves through the morning commute, but it's northern Wasatch Front to start things off, and then we're pushing through tail end of the commute, Salt Lake and Utah counties. Now, the showers continue on Monday night through central Utah into Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon, you're getting a break. That's your window of opportunity. If you're doing any Thanksgiving traveling, Tuesday night through early Wednesday morning, that's your window at least to get to Grandma's. Now, tonight, showers again, early morning, not really happening much until about 2 or 3 a.m. Clear conditions across the south. Colder for the north with that cold front moving in. 30s and 40s for afternoon highs, still 40s and 50s across southern Utah. The snow in central Utah doesn't get to you until the afternoon. Now for southern Utah, specifically the Dixie area, you don't see the showers until Wednesday with a mixture of rain and snow, and then snow Friday and Saturday, dropping temperatures in the 30s. That's for southern Utah. Northern Utah, snow again on Tuesday morning. Snow picks up again Wednesday afternoon through Thanksgiving into Friday. Now it's showing for the weekend. We don't see the snow, but we see the cold for sure.
So I would usually complain about the snow, and I do have to drive quite a bit on Thanksgiving, but what a better way to get out of those turkey trots on Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Oh, the weather,
Silver
dang
lining,
it.
I like that. Glass half full.
Yeah,
I like
Rick.
it.
Still ahead, they may be beginning to hibernate, but Utahns saw a lot of them this year. We'll tell you how to be prepared in case you come face to face with a black bear.
And we'll tell you how community leaders are helping keep housing affordable for seniors in Sugar House for decades to come.
You're watching Fox 13 News. Let's connect.
Thanks for joining us. Most of Utah's black bears are starting to enter their dens to hibernate for the winter, but it's never too soon to start thinking about bear safety. Fox 13's Haley Higgins tells us why we may need to be extra prepared for this next season.
They're cute and harmless from a distance, but intimidating and frightening up close. Black bears love to wander about the beautiful outdoors just like many Utahns. And this year, you may have run into a few more than usual.
We've seen an increase in bear populations probably over the last decade or so.
Last year, 27 incidents were reported involving black bears. This year, the number nearly doubled to 53 statewide. Most of them in the southern parts of Utah County. Sometimes more bears mean more conflict.
A bear that actually injures somebody, and we did have 1 or 2 incidences like that last year where bears and humans came into contact.
But why are we seeing more bears than usual?
This has been a natural growth in population that we've seen, more bears being born.
Biologists believe there are several other reasons for this year's increase, like the length of winter hibernations, drought, and lack of natural foods, pushing them to search for food and water in places far from home.
Most of the incidents were, people seeing bears hanging around, getting into dumpsters, getting into garbage, those kinds of things. Keep their camps clean and keep food out of reach of bears.
And if you see a bear getting too close for comfort,
make yourself big, in the rare occasion that a bear attacks, fight back with black bears.
Black bears in Utah begin hibernation as early as the end of October and typically won't emerge until March or April. The Department of Wildlife Resources says people should start planning now on how to prevent conflicts next year. Haley Higgins, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Utah's affordable housing shortage impacts people of all ages. Fox 13's Amy Nay shows us how city leaders are helping older Utahns call Salt Lake City home.
Many seniors at Lincoln Tower Apartments have called Salt Lake City home for decades. They don't plan on that changing anytime soon.
We know we have an affordable housing crisis. And for those on fixed incomes, this crisis can be even more daunting. Rents are going up at an alarming rate.
The Utah Housing Coalition says about 11% of Utah's population is 65 and older, and 7% of senior-led households are living beneath the poverty level.
But our seniors should not have to choose between rent, food, medication, and other basic needs.
The building was going offline for affordability. That means it would soon be listed on the public market, probably replaced with new apartments at market prices. And that would mean all new tenants. That didn't sit well with Mayor Jackie Biskupski. She called the seniors part of the fabric of Sugar House.
As mayor, I am happy the city could help facilitate the renovation project using funding from the city's Funding Our Future initiative, which this community supported a year and a half ago.
Salt Lake City's Housing Trust Fund provided a $1.3 million low-interest loan to help with the project. Biskupski says that will keep these units affordable for half a century. And there's more good news. Residents won't be waiting much longer for the new look.
The time frame's going to go pretty quick. They've already started remodeling some of the units, and it's going to be another few more months to complete the project entirely.
Amy Nay, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Still to come in our next half hour, there's a new way to get around in Utah. We're going to introduce you to the new service that could make UTA tracks and front-runner trains even more convenient.
House Democrats say the impeachment inquiry is far from over. I'm Mark Meredith in Washington. Coming up, I'll tell you what Congress is expected to do next.
We're back with breaking news this Sunday evening. Westbound traffic on I-80 near Wanship in Summit County is closed due to a semi-truck rollover. You can see it with this live look from a UDOT camera in the area. We've learned that 2 people are injured due to this rollover. We will keep you updated on this developing story.
And in national news, after 5 days of public impeachment testimony over the past 2 weeks, the president says he would like a full Senate trial if the House does vote to impeach him.
Fox's Mark Meredith shows us what's likely to happen in the weeks to come.
The House Intelligence Committee has not scheduled any more impeachment inquiry hearings, but the committee's chairman says it's possible more witnesses could be asked to testify after Thanksgiving.
We view this as urgent. We have another election in which the president is threatening more foreign interference. But at the same time, there are still other witnesses, other documents that we would like to obtain.
Over the next few weeks, the Intelligence Committee is expected to compile a report detailing its findings. The report would then go to the Judiciary Committee, where members could choose to draft articles of impeachment. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says there's no guarantee that the House will vote to impeach, though. Fox is told there are potential articles of impeachment under consideration, including bribery, abuse of power, including intimidation of witnesses, contempt of Congress, and obstruction of justice. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says if the House does impeach, the length of the trial could last several weeks. The timing of such a trial could also have a major impact on the 2020 presidential race. This, as GOP senators tell Fox News, they're ready for whatever comes next.
I do not think that the allegations will be summarily dismissed. I think there will be a trial, and I'm in favor of doing it in accordance with due process and let everybody offer whatever they want to in terms of evidence.
President Trump says he welcomes a trial in the Senate, although the White House has complained that impeachment is preventing Congress from working on other issues like trade. The president has also recently met with some GOP senators and discussed how impeachment may play out. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox 13 News, Utah.
And closer to home, there's a new way to get around the Salt Lake Valley thanks to a partnership between UTA and a new company.
Fox 13's Jordan Hogan explains what this is and how it works.
Via is an app that's kind of like Uber and Lyft. It will get you to and from the track station or front runner stations for a small fee. The catch is it's only available in southern Salt Lake County for now.
Getting from the train and to your front door is about to get a bit easier, all thanks to a new program that just started up. UTA is working with VIA to test out a new service in southern Salt Lake County called UTA On Demand. It covers Bluffdale, Draper, Harriman, Riverton, and South Jordan.
Not everyone can drive, not everyone either afford to drive, from a mobility perspective can drive, wants to drive, so it's really important to be able to have alternative options.
This is where the new service comes into play. It helps bridge the gap between the first mile and last mile of your journey.
That's always been kind of the issue. The first and last mile is something we've grappled with.
Whether it be to work, school, home, or any other destination, just as long as it starts and ends in the service area that's highlighted in blue.
This is an area that's harder to serve. We have newer development, we have expanding areas, we have a lot of growth, and I think this is an innovative way to get people where they need to be.
You can use the VIA app or call a number to book your ride. In the app, you just select how many passengers there are, where you're going from, and then where you're going to. Then the app finds you a ride. After you book the ride, the app will display the pickup location where the VIA vehicle will meet you. UTA says the idea of this partnership is to give people a broader reach using the public transit we already have.
If they need to get to a doctor's office, a grocery store, a library, whatever it may need, this provides them an opportunity to use public transportation to do that.
In order for it to expand, though, it needs to succeed.
This one-year pilot program is funded by Salt Lake County sales tax dollars, and if all goes well, it could expand to other areas. In studio, Jordan Hogan, Fox 13 News, Utah.
I'm Jeff Rainier. Coming up in sports, the Utes moved up in the college football polls, and the Wildcats got a great seed for the playoffs. Plus college basketball, with the Aggies and Utes both in action today. The highlights are on the way.
It's a growing city in a booming state, and under her leadership, we saw plenty of change.
That kind of stuff makes me so proud.
Outgoing Mayor Jackie Biskupski on the highs and lows, her lasting impact, and the inland port. Coming up on 3 Questions.
Well, Saturday made for an interesting shakeup in the Pac-12.
Yeah, you know, we're getting so close to the end of the season. The Utes have so much to play for.
That's right.
Pretty dang exciting. With Oregon's loss to Arizona State, the Utes are now in 6th spot in the Associated Press top 25 and the coaches poll after a dominating 35-7 win over Arizona last night in Tucson. The Utes are now 10-1. They can clinch the Pac-12 South title with the win over Colorado this Saturday. 2 more wins could put the Utes in the college football playoffs, or at worst, a Rose Bowl. But they have to take care of business.
Got 1 more to go now in regular season. Got all our attention turned to Colorado.
They're coming to our place. Senior night is a heck of a group of seniors that we got. They've meant so much to this program. We've done so much for this program. Excited about where we're at. You know, we're sitting here 10-1 with one regular season game left, relatively healthy. So we'll see what happens.
After wrapping up a share of the Big Sky Championship for a third year in a row with the win over Idaho State yesterday, Weber State received the number 3 seed in the FCS playoffs. The Wildcats get a first-round bye. They'll host the winner between Wofford and Kennesaw State on December 7th. College basketball today. Utah State played their final game of the Jersey Mike's Jamaica Classic against North Texas. Alfonso Anderson played well off the bench, gets the reverse. Then he hit back-to-back buckets. Nice ball fake and the score. Put the Aggies up 2 with 6 minutes to play. The Mean Green, though, played him tough. Dang Gu with the shot at the rim. But Anderson continued to make big plays, scores again. He led the Aggies with 19 points. Utah State won it 68-59 to improve to 7-0. The Utes played Tulane in the 5th-place game of the Myrtle Beach Invitational. First half, Timmy Allen, baseline cut and the jam. He had scored 14. Second half, Brendan Carlson follows up the miss with a throwdown of his own. He also scored 14 points for the Utes. Then it's Ryland Jones, works his way open for 3. He scored 11. The Utes were up 6 with 4:30 to play, but that was their final bucket. Tulane closed out the game on a 10-0 run to win it 65-61. Nasty weather conditions in Foxborough, Massachusetts for the Patriots game against the Cowboys. Former BYU Cougar Kyle Van Noy and the Patriots shut down the Cowboys. Van Noy takes down Ezekiel Elliott for a loss. Van Noy had 5 tackles, just 1 touchdown in this one, and here it is. Tom Brady to N'Keal Harry, 10-yard scoring play. The Patriots beat the Cowboys 13-9. Good game in New Orleans between the Saints and Panthers. Drew Brees to Michael Thomas. Touchdown put the Saints up 31-18 in the third, but back came the Panthers. Kyle Allen to DJ Moore tied the score at 31, but the Saints kicked the winning field goal on the final play to win it 34-31. Seahawks continue to roll. They took on the Eagles. Trick play here, Chris Carson back to Russell Wilson, who fires it downfield to Malik Turner. How about that great play? The Seahawks won it 17-9 to improve to 9-2. Coming up tonight on the Fox 13 Sports page, we'll have more on the Utes' win over Arizona, plus hear from Kalani Sitake after BYU's win and his contract extension. And we'll talk all things Real Salt Lake with team owner Deloy Hansen tonight, starting at 10:05.
Jam-packed sports page.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot to get to.
Great. Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
After the break, of course, we're going to be talking about this week's forecast. I want to share a photo coming in from a viewer, Michael Bowman, up in Big Cottonwood Canyon. Look at the snow, a little scarce. Please look at this forecast. There's no scarcity of snow. Several inches expected in the mountains. The valley's getting into the mix. How does it affect your commute and your Thanksgiving travel? We're going to answer that after the break. All right, let's get into this long-range forecast, getting you ready for Thanksgiving, but we also need preparations for the storm that's hitting tomorrow morning. Now, we're not seeing the impacts of that storm yet. 30s currently along the Wasatch Front. Winds are calm. Winds pick up early tomorrow morning. And with this storm, we're going to see snow quickly developing even along the valley floor, so we don't get much break as it hits and that cold air comes through. We might see a brief period, just a few minutes of rain, and then quickly turning into snow. Let's confirm. Take a look at our snow levels, as again, they're above the benches right now with the temperatures, because we're not seeing the precipitation. But the precipitation, extreme northern Utah, starts early in the morning, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock a.m., moving through the Salt Lake Valley by about 10 o'clock. Thus, as we look at midnight into 6 a.m., snow levels dropping right down to the valley floors, and we're going to keep it there as temperatures tomorrow well below normal. Difficulties climbing out of the 30s actually for the next several days as we roll through Monday and Tuesday, where we have a possibility of snow showers both tomorrow into Tuesday, as we'll keep it going as well. Updates again, watches and warnings from the National Weather Service as we look across portions of eastern Utah, Castle Country, San Rafael Swell. We're looking at some strong winds, especially as that front moves through, and behind the front we can see wind gusts in excess of 40 miles per hour. The focus, though, is the winter weather associated with the storm. Snow in the valleys, snow in the mountains. For the valleys, we're talking 1 to 2 inches for most valley locations. Salt Lake Valley, Tooele County, 2 to 3 inches potentially, and upwards of 6 inches in Tooele. And then central Utah, it's about a 1 to 2 inch range there. As the mountains picking up 3, upwards of 8 inches, some local areas like the Cottonwood Canyons could pick up just a little bit more. And that's the first storm that we need to talk about. As this cold front on our doorstep and then more storms behind it. Let's take a look though. Timing of these series of storms, how it'll be impacting your traveling. Again, updating you when you could travel and finding some dry roads, which will be very difficult here over the next several days. Okay, let's go through the clock here and rolling for the next 5-6 days where, again, the storm hitting tonight impacting northern Utah. So 6 o'clock, it's extreme northern Utah. Logan through Tremonton, as I mentioned. It doesn't reach the Salt Lake Valley until about 10 o'clock. 8 o'clock, Ogden, Layton, you're seeing the snow. And then Utah County, it's around the noon hour where you start to see the snow showers. And then as we move through the afternoon on Monday, it pushes through central, southern, into eastern Utah. Tuesday, lingering snow showers, mainly over the mountains, so canyon traveling will be difficult, especially through the morning hours. We get a little bit of a break, though. Late Tuesday afternoon into the evening, as you can see right there, spacing it off with the next storm, which is a bigger storm. It's going to be pushing through most of the western United States. So Wednesday morning, you can see northern, western Utah over towards Nevada. You're seeing the showers. So if you're having to travel either north or west, it's a concern on Wednesday. And then across the state, at least for most of the state, except for eastern Utah, on Thanksgiving Day, what can I say? It's everywhere. North, south, west, even east, as we'll keep the showers going into Friday as well. Finally beginning to taper off, moving through Saturday early, and then we get a little break as we look towards Sunday, but it is going to be cold. Now here's your hour-by-hour forecast then. Tonight, we're holding on to the clouds. Temperatures really don't start dipping until tomorrow morning. You can see the showers begin. This is for the Salt Lake Valley. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I'm really kind of pushing that towards 10 o'clock, but again, the northern Wasatch Front gets an earlier start. So snow in the forecast tomorrow. It hits central Utah afternoon. You're okay across the south. It will be breezy. You're hanging on to some sunshine as temperatures remain into the 50s, but it's cooler in St. George. Then for you, that second storm really gets things going. A mixture of rain and snow. As you see temperatures in the 50s, it will drop quickly behind the front though. And then it looks like some rain showers on Thursday. Snow though Friday into Saturday. We're down into the 30s as we head into the weekend. And for northern Utah, snow tomorrow, lingering snow on Tuesday. The next storm hits, bringing a mixture of rain and snow Wednesday, snow Thursday, Friday as well. There we go. So Thanksgiving traveling will be difficult, especially through some of the mountain passes. And as I showed you, going whatever direction, north, south, east, or west, it's going to be a touch and go for sure. So just stay abreast of all the latest information. We'll keep you updated. Tomorrow morning's commute, again, northern Wasatch Front. That's the biggest focus during the kind of the height peak or the peak period of the morning commute.
Wow, a lot of helpful information, Greg.
Yes.
Thank you.
You have a question?
Take advantage of that little break. That's all I was thinking.
Yeah, it's like Tuesday
night.
afternoon,
Yes.
Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. That's about it.
Great. Thanks, Breck.
It has been an eventful 4 years for outgoing Salt Lake City Mayor Jackie Biskupski, with a long list of notable issues and events. Running a city this size has been challenging, but she says very satisfying. Now, after only one term, she's stepping down to address important family matters. But when it comes to the city's business, no issue has been bigger for her than the proposed inland port, tied up in the courts in a battle over who would control and benefit from it. And that's where we started when I asked her 3 questions. If the inland port does move forward, what kind of an effect do you think it will have on Utah's environment, its economy, and the quality of life?
I believe that there is no port, inland or otherwise, that's in the state, any state, that isn't polluting. And everyone's fears will probably be realized if the city loses control of what gets developed on a third of our land. Quality of life is already a concern. If you're anywhere on the foothills of the valley looking out, you can see the pollution that is being created by the growth that is happening here and the lack of electric infrastructure and lack of demand for electric vehicles in our state. Since I've been mayor, we've done $1 billion in economic growth. We've done 9,000 jobs. We're building a brand new airport on site. It's not like we don't know how to do economic development. We certainly don't need the state running a third of our city to do economic development and do it correctly.
Salt Lake City has elected 3 female mayors now. You get the impression that the girls are taking over the place.
I wouldn't call them girls.
The ladies are taking over the place.
You know, women need to lead. And that conversation is happening all over the world. You have the first female of Rome, the first female mayor of Paris. You know, women have to be leading. We're in a time crunch when it comes to climate change, and women have to be leading these conversations. We can't continue to just allow the same conversations to be happening over and over and expect different results. Women have to get in there, they have to lead, and they have to help direct the new path that has to happen in a very short window of time. I'm grateful that I've had that opportunity to pioneer female leadership in this state, and I look forward to what's ahead for me. I think I'll be doing climate change work on a national level and be a part of those conversations still, which is an extraordinary opportunity, not only for me, but for all the kids in the country. You know, I want to be helpful. They need a future.
As you look back on your time as mayor,
yeah,
what was the high point for you? What was the low point for you?
The job has been so great. Like, there's so many high points. You know, we're bringing, you know, the All-Star game is fun. Yes. We're bringing the Olympics back. That'll be fun. You know, we hosted the United Nations Civil Society Conference here. You know, extraordinary opportunity for our community to participate in an international conversation around what it means to create an inclusive and sustainable community. You know, we are restructuring homeless services, and we're delivering services in a much more compassionate and effective way. We are working on law enforcement and changing how we do law enforcement in this city. Our crime is down 30% across the city. And we have the first law enforcement strategic plan. We're handing out awards to law enforcement officers who are de-escalating situations. And that kind of stuff makes me so proud. You know, we're changing how things have always been done, and we're doing them better.
Well, Mayor Jackie Biskupski of Salt Lake City, thank you so much for being part of 3 Questions.
You're welcome.
To see Bob's full interview with Mayor Jackie Biskupski, including whether being the first openly gay mayor of Salt Lake was ever a factor in how she approached her job, go to fox13now.com. Also, to listen to the full interview in podcast form, just download it wherever you get your podcasts.
Light the World campaign starts tomorrow with the opening of the giving machines. Now, these look like vending machines, but instead of getting a candy bar, you're buying a sheep or cow for a family in a third world country, or a pair of shoes for someone in need. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints sponsors this campaign, and they've installed giving machines in 10 locations all around the world. Now, 2 are right here in Utah, one in Salt Lake City at the Joseph Smith Memorial Building, and the other one is at the University Place Mall. That's in Orem.
Thanks for watching Fox 13 News at 9. Quickcast is coming up next.
And don't go anywhere, because Sports Page is right after that.